For those of you that are attempting to build a network marketing business, you got to be on LinkedIn. I'm just telling you flat out. You got to be on LinkedIn. The smartest top earners in your business are using LinkedIn. Now, they're using it differently than most people. They're using LinkedIn's latest new features to enroll customers and reps in less time. They're building large teams, and they're building massive organizations all around the world. Tonight, we have our third session of boot camp, how to communicate and qualify your prospects. And there's always a story behind every success story. And tonight I'm going to share Francisco's success story. The 4-step formula that he's using, that all of my students use, work on every social network. 4 C's: create, connect, communicate, and qualify, and close your prospects. 4 C's equal big bucks. And it's behind the success of top earning affiliate and network marketers everywhere. Communicate with everyone, qualify them with questions. You only want to talk to the people that you know in advance, need what you have, want what you have. So early this afternoon, I got this from one of my favorite students. He's probably been one of my longest students, Francisco Rodriguez. I started working with him 22 years ago when he was building a prepaid legal business. He was generating about $2,000 a month. He was happy, he was young. And back in 2020, he jumped back into network marketing. And he used the same scripts, the same strategies that I taught him years ago to build another business. Started in 2020, he ended the year recruiting 5 seasoned network marketers, and he had a team of 200 people. 1 year later, December of 2021, those 5 whales turned into 30 whales. Those 200 people became 17,000. 17,000 people in 1 year. The following month, in January of this year, those 17,000 people grew to 38,000. And it's been growing ever since. He told me in June he was up to 52,000, and I just heard from him today. He's now up to 72,000 motivated team members. And they're all using my scripts. But the exciting news was he told me in June that he was in talk with a top earning network marketer with a team of 600,000 people. He's joining Francisco's business. Way to go, Francisco. Now, stop buying leads. Leads are free. You got 860 million professional users on LinkedIn, and every one of them is easy to identify who would clearly be a candidate for your business. $860 million professionals, but LinkedIn is no longer a secret. Millions of marketers are rushing to join every month, forcing LinkedIn to make some significant changes. It's changing quite a bit. For those of you that are in boot camp, we're laying those changes out for you. For those of you that are not, well, my students have an advantage. You can build your business on LinkedIn and Facebook in an hour a day. No one says you have to stop after an hour. But LinkedIn is where you need to be devoting your time. LinkedIn, with 860 million professional users, is adding people every day. Every day, they're adding 345,000. Every week, 2 million people are jumping on LinkedIn. In June, they added 10,000. I'm still waiting for the number for July. LinkedIn is Facebook for professionals. Period. Their new video features make it easy for you to network and communicate. Easy to identify perfect prospects on LinkedIn from the information listed on their profile. And then it's a matter of answering questions. Now, your success on LinkedIn is going to depend on a number of factors. First, optimizing your profile so it can be found in everybody's search results. Second, adjusting your profile settings so people can see the important details. 3, understanding the dynamic use of LinkedIn and how people communicate with others. 4, positioning yourself as an authority within your niche market and industry. 5, creating effective lead generation methods that turn prospects to business builders. 6, influencing your audience with effective posting. And 7, efficiently qualifying your prospects to increase your closing ratio. That's what we're going to be sharing with all of you in our boot camp. Everyone on LinkedIn and Facebook created their profile for a reason. Their photo and cover, plus the information provided about themselves and their visible daily activity, makes it easy to pick the best prospects. Prospects who would be interested in your business and eager to talk about it. So let me look in the chat window. See if any of my students have any questions. Okay, so Richard wants to know, I got a lot of birthday wishes, but this was already a month ago. So you use, Richard, the same strategy, you just write in front of that, sorry for my delayed response. I was away from LinkedIn. Sorry I missed your birthday wish. But remember, we're only going to be using this on people that give the appearance that they could very well be a prospect for your business. And let's see if Lane is here. Okay. Where are the best instructions to use Sales Navigator? Well, just like everything else, Sales Navigator is changing. Changing all the time. So you'll notice our August boot camp is laid out a little different than previous boot camps. And you come to the boot camp toolbox. Now it's not listed here. It will be by tonight. We have a whole tutorial on using Sales Navigator. Anybody else have any questions? Or what you can do, we talked about Sales Navigator in session 2. How to use it to connect with people. Let me pop over here. Let me flip over to Facebook. Facebook, the most effective way to communicate with folks is in stories. He's just enrolled a network marketing leader with 600,000 people in his business. Posting with stories. It's going to get you all kinds of activity. All kinds of ways to communicate with folks. Let me come back over here. And let's look at Nancy. So Nancy is working on her LinkedIn. Let me unmute her.
Hi, Max.
Hey, Nancy, welcome. So let's just check out your LinkedIn profile. You starting to have fun with this yet?
You know what? I am. I'm not moving as fast as I want to, but I changed my pictures and I'm rewriting some stuff in here.
Super. Well, you know, it's a process. And every day you get a little bit better. So right now, you're a preferred customer in your business.
Yes.
And you want to get you want to bring in a customer and help that customer get 8 customers so you can become a director.
Yes.
So you can start out by looking for people that are looking to start a business. Because somebody that's looking to start a business or looking to make money will be more interested in running around and telling everybody about it. So let's take a look at your work history.
You know, I'm just starting to build that. So you're not going to see too much on there yet.
Okay. Okay. So from what I remember, you were a retail manager, an auditor,
Yep.
and a dispatcher. So you want to put all of that in there, but make each one of them needs to be a separate entity. And then you're going to be able to go out and start connecting with all kinds of people. You're learning the dance. Let's come over here to contact information. You're going to want to add your birthday. You want to just, go through the profile guide and jump on some more of these sessions, and we're here to help you. Yeah,
Thank you.
All righty.
Yeah.
Glad to see you. Okay, so let's come down and let's look at Burley. Now you have to remember, it's all about having a profile. Once your profile is up, you're now free to reach out, connect with people, pick the people to talk to that would naturally be interested in your business. And you're on your way. So let me unmute Burley.
Hey Max, how you doing, brother?
I am doing good. How have you been?
Doing great, man.
So, I mean, I got to tell you something, Burley, with your background, being serving our country in the Marines, thanks again for our service, for your service. But, from being in law enforcement, man,
Yes.
there are, one of the groups of people that you absolutely want to be talking to on here are other law enforcement people. Have you tried that yet?
Yes, I have. I have.
How's that working?
It's working okay. It's slow because mostly I've been talking to retirees, the main thing, as like myself. But it's slow, but it's coming. It's coming.
You having fun?
Oh God, yes, yes, sir.
Well, I would definitely think so. And
You see how much my my contacts have grown in the last couple months. A lot.
yeah, and it's going to continue to grow.
Yes, sir.
So we're glad to see LinkedIn is making some changes that are going to be making it easier for you to connect with folks. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, well, listen, just stay in touch, and we're glad you're here.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
So let me come over here and let me look. Okay, anybody else got any questions? Okay. As I said, tonight, we're going to be showing you all how to communicate with people. And one of the things that is so important, communicating with others, is listening. Now, one of the tools that you have is a training that we conducted during one of our top runner retreats years ago. And the information on it is still as vibrant and important as it is today. Since we don't have anybody asking me any questions, let me click on this.
Folks, I have to introduce you to somebody who over the years has really become a very, very good friend. And over the years, I've had the pleasure to meet, some of the industry legends. Yesterday, you heard from Christine Peterson, and you're about to hear from a man who would be in probably the top 10, maybe even in the top 5 of people who have really done something for this industry. To give you a little background on John, years ago, he created a magazine, a platform. And literally, I got my education on network marketing from his publication Upline, where he became literally a source for people. And I should just let John tell you the story. But he's been in the trenches in this industry for years, knows everybody. And one of the things about John is he's got this new book coming out, The Greatest Networkers in the World, and where he talks about 21 ordinary people who became millionaires in network marketing and the true story of how they did it. And, the amazing thing is, in going through the names, I know all these people. Some of them I have good relationships with, very good relationships with. But there is a common thread that runs through the success of all of these people. And John, over the years, has connected with so many people. He's got so much wisdom to share. A week or so ago, I sent out an email suggesting that people that wanted to get the audio recordings and interviews of these people could get it. If you got it, wonderful. If not, before the end of the session, we're going to tell you where you can go to get it, because it really is amazing. He also wrote the book, The Greatest Networker in the World, and it's must reading for everybody in network marketing. So, John, thank you very much for taking part of a Sunday and joining us today. There are roughly 60 people that have interrupted their Sunday to hear you. These are people that are bound and determined to be successful in this industry. They want to make 6 figures. So anyway, folks, I want to introduce you to John Fox, who, John, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your network marketing story, because everybody has one. And then let's start talking about what's the common denominator that people in network marketing have to possess if they really and truly want to make 6 figures in their business. So, John, how did you get started in network marketing?
Oh, Lord. I was the marketing director for one of the pioneering natural and health food companies in the United States called Erewhon, E-R-E-W-H-O-N. Unique name that came from a book written by a man named Samuel Butler. And Butler wrote about a fictitious country called Erewhon, where criminals were treated by doctors and people who were sick were thrown in jail. And so here we were in the business of trying to revolutionize the American industrial age diet. And And I was the marketing director for that. And so we had some pretty interesting foods coming across our radar, lots of stuff from Asia. The first green superfood showed up. This is in the 70s, Mac. Most of us were a bunch of long-haired hippies. I think the oldest guy in the company was 32, and that was the president. And I was part of a community of people who were studying a dietary regime and a philosophy called macrobiotics. The interesting thing about all the people involved in macrobiotics is they all looked like they haunted houses for a living. They were ashen and gray and lifeless and lackluster. A couple of people left the community. It was in Boston, Massachusetts. 6 months later, they came back and they looked incredible. And I said, it can't just be the California sun. What are you doing? And they said they were taking this algae, super blue-green algae from Celtec. And you've been around long enough to remember them.
Yeah.
And so my wife at the time and I took the product. And about 20-some days later, we just forgot to take it. And that next day, both of us at about 3 p.m. said, hey, how'd you like to take a nap? Well, we were in our 30s, man. We don't do nap. And so we thought, oh my goodness, it's the algae. And so I got into it. I'd always admired, because I was a marketing guy, I'd always admired network marketing, but I admired it. This may sound a little funny to you, Max. I admired it from a spiritual and moral perspective as much as anything else. I knew about word of mouth and that power. I knew about personal recommendations and what we today call social proof. That's how we sold stuff in the natural food business. We would recommend it to people, and the store owners would pick up on our recommendations. That's a way that we served them and how they got new products into their store. I knew all that, but I really admired the payment for the effort. I knew as a corporate person that you couldn't pay an employee more than about 30% of what they were worth to you at the most, because you had to make profit, you had to pay for the heat, light, power, all the overhead, and you had to make a profit on their efforts. And it was a place where it seemed to me, more than anything, it was fair. I also came out of advertising, and I knew how much advertising cost the company and what percentage of the price of a product had to be allocated to the advertising and promotion effort. And here they were giving that to the people. And that seemed like a nice hippie thing to do. So that's how I started. I took off like a small rocket. Because I was the marketing manager of a natural food company, I had a very strong circle of influence. People trusted me, respected me, and I got into this product, and I was a copywriter. I wrote the copy for all of our ads and products and labels and brochures and stuff. So I wrote an 8-page sales letter, sent it out to 160-some people, sold 130-some of those people products, brought about 35 people into the business, maybe 40 in the first 3 months, none of whom did anything because I didn't know what I was doing at all. If I had sponsored another marketing guy, Max, I sponsored somebody like you, we would have been a great team, you and me. But I didn't know how to build an organization, and I ended up writing a lot of stuff for that company, Celtec. And that's how I got into writing in network marketing and researching. And at that time in the early, when would that have been? That would have been kind of the late 70s, early 80s. There may have been 2 books written in network marketing. Don Fala's Napkin Presentations and Randy Ward's Winning the Greatest Game of All. There was maybe one publication, maybe two, and they were, gosh, nothing sophisticated, nothing sexy.
Well, John, how did you go from being, involved with the company? How did Upline evolve?
It's a wacky story, and I'll shortcut it. It started out, Matt, as a pyramid scheme. No kidding. I had moved from New England to the South to North Carolina. One of the people I knew down there was a network marketer, but he was a hustler and a huckster, and I mean, it wasn't illegal, but he was always on the edge of stuff. And he called me up one day and he said, John, what's one thing every network marketing company does? I don't know. He said, meeting. So what if we made the meeting the product? We would charge people $100 to come here, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, whomever. And so we charge them $100, and we use $25 of that to pay an instant one-time commission, and then $5 down 5 levels for the residual for the organizational payout. We give the speaker $25. We pocket 25. So, okay, it was a cool idea. And I thought, all right, for days, I thought about it, and I said, what's the biggest problem with this idea? And the biggest problem was the hotel. The expense at the hotel and the travel and the rooms and all of that stuff, that was going to be a pain in the butt. And so how could we get away without that? What could we do? And so what came to mind immediately was a publication. Let's disappear the hotel. Let's have Zig write. Let's interview men and women and successful network marketers. Let's look up research and bring in marketing wisdom and business wisdom and financial wisdom and put that in a publication. And that publication was born. It was called MLM Success. Before we even were out into the world in public, I got a call for Success Magazine telling me they owned the name Success and they would license me the name for $1 a year. I was an ex-hippie living in the hills of North Carolina, and I heard this talk from some slick New York City publisher, and I just saw all kinds of potential problems. And so I called my business partners up. One was John David Mann, who with Bob Berg wrote The Go-Giver, and John writes for Networking Times, and he's I think the best writer in this industry, and coming from a guy who writes and who's been called a terrific writer, it's high praise. John's just the best there is. Anyway, I called him up and I said, hey, I want to change the name. What do you think of calling it Upline for all those people out there who don't have one? We'll deal with the widows and orphans of network marketing. He thought it was a great idea, so I called Success Magazine and I said, hey, don't worry about that $1 deal. We just changed our name to Upline. There was dead silence on the other end of the phone. So it became Upline.
So, John, in all of the times that you've been involved with Upline, and all of the times that, with all of the top people in the industry that you've had a chance to talk to, what would you say, going back to the book, the greatest networkers in the world? We were talking the other day and you said that I think out of the 21 people who you wrote about, only 2 of them had been in one company from the beginning, and the balance of them had been in multiple companies.
Yeah.
What are some of the attributes, or share with us some of the stories of something? That's what these people are really dying to know. I mean, you've had an opportunity to meet these people, talk to them, document their success stories. What is it going to take for these people to make 6 figures in this business?
Well, there are a whole variety of answers to that, Matt. One of my favorites came from a lady named Linda Proctor. Now, some of the people on this line will probably know Linda's husband, who's Bob Proctor, who was the star, I guess you'd call him, of The Secret. Bob's been around network marketing for years, and one of the careless things that people say, and I had a very big leader say to me when I mentioned Linda Proctor to him the other day, oh, well, you know, Bob Proctor built her business. If you know Bob, and I've known Bob for 15 years, and you know Linda, you know that Bob Proctor doesn't build anybody's business except Bob's business. He's a coach, he's a mentor, and he's superb at it. So he coached and mentored Linda, that's true, but he didn't build her business. Anyway, when Linda was at Bob's urging, Linda had built a very successful financial services business, combining insurance and investment and counseling and all kinds of stuff together, helping very wealthy clients. And she was making $500,000 a year doing this. And her problem was, as many of the greatest networkers who were already very successful people, their problem was time. They were dying. They were killing themselves. And this happened. Warren Nelson was vice president of marketing for a major technology company. And he hated the politics in corporate America. He calls corporate America the real pyramid scheme. And he was just working his butt off. Linda was running her own business and working her butt off. She was working 70, 80 hours a week. And Bob, she had married Bob at that time, Bob suggested to her that she try network marketing. And she ignored him, Max. What she knew about network marketing was nothing was good. And she just hoped that he'd forget about it. And he didn't. He kept bringing it up. And finally, one day, he said to her, well, what do you have against network marketing? And she rattles off these things and how it doesn't work and the people who fail. And Bob said, well, who are you talking to where you get this information? Are you talking to anybody who's making money in network marketing? No. Are you talking, so you haven't talked to anybody who's really successful? No. He said, oh, you got to do that. You've been talking to the wrong people. So he set it up for Linda to talk to a couple of people that he'd coached and mentored who were making $250,000 a year, who were making $1 million a year. And Linda sat down with them and was totally transformed about the possibilities of network marketing. And when she went to her sponsors and her first mentors in the business, she said, okay, how do I make 6 figures a year? And her sponsor said, you get 6 people to make $2,000 a month. You help 6 people make $2,000 every month. When I heard that in my interview with her, Max, I was knocked out. Because what I love about that remark is it's believable. Immediately, I can find 6 people and I can help 6 people make $2,000 a month. That is not a big deal. That's not $10,000 a month in a month. That's not one of these hyperbole, just off the chart, wacko claims. I know that can be done. And so did Linda. And then so Linda's next question was, okay, how do I make $1 million a year? And her sponsor, who had made $1 million a year, said, you find 6 people and you teach them how to do what you already know how to do, which is to make $100,000 a year. And Linda pointed out, she said, the numbers may shift a little bit, but in general, whether it's a binary, a breakaway, or whatever pay plan, that's going to work out. You're going to find 5 or 6 people. You're going to teach them how to make $2,000 a month. Now you're a 6-figure annual income earner. And once you've already done that, You teach people how to do what you already know how to do. And Max, that's a major thread that runs through these greatest networkers and my almost 25 years in network marketing. What this business is about is learning how to do something, doing it, and then teaching other people how to do what you already know how to do. You have heard many people say, I've heard you say, this is a simple business, not always easy, but simple, always simple. And that's one of the great lessons I've learned from these greatest networkers. And I'll tell you, Max, listening to these audios, and no one has listened to them more than I have, obviously, I edit them down. These are más o menos 45 minutes to 1 hour conversations. It takes me 3, 4, sometimes as much as 6 hours to edit these conversations, to take out audio clips that I can replay on the site, to give people a taste of what's coming in this book. And as you pointed out, I put these audios together in a package for sale. They're kind of like bootleg audios. They're blowing me away. They've got me. I've been around 25 years. They've got me so excited about network marketing. I'm looking at network marketing companies to join. And you know me, Max. You know I don't do that.
John, one of the ingredients or the components of the focus of this group of people is to take advantage of the migration, the turmoil, companies close and distributed, for all kinds of reasons, move from one company to another. I mean, right now we have Ameriplan, which, just terminated a whole bunch of their key people. You've got startup companies that stumble, and we've got a lot of success stories that have already occurred, and some that are in the process of being made right now, where people are developing relationships with very, very successful network marketers who are searching for a new home. And how much of that have you seen? When we talk about these people that have been involved in more than one company. I remember when I got into the business, I was told nobody ever makes it big in their first company. I was going to prove everybody wrong. And then, of course, I had no control over it, but the owners of my company sold it to prepaid legal, and I didn't want to build a prepaid legal business.
I got it. Well, as you mentioned early on when you introduced this subject, only 2 of the 21 people I'm featuring in this book, and let me be really clear about one thing. These are not the only 21, there are not only 21 greatest networkers in the world out there. What I learned, Max, is I believe there are thousands of people who could wear the mantle, the greatest networker in the world. This industry is filled with remarkable men and women, most all of whom became remarkable when they got here. They weren't remarkable when they showed up. I mean, I did a blog post today, and it's not earth-shattering, but it is something that people don't think about much. Hang on, I'm just grabbing it off the internet. At one time, every one of the greatest networkers in the world, Ken Dunn, Dr. Sven Gogol, Carolyn Whiteman, Lynn Allen Johnson, Margie Aliprandi, Jordan Adler, Randy Gage, Richard Brooke, Donna Johnson, Warren Nelson, Sarah Robbins, Orion Saleh, John Haremza, Donna Vincent, Frank Kiefer, Art Burley, Linda Proctor, Beth Jacobs, Sandy Ellsberg, Robert Middleton, and John Bentley had never been involved in network marketing before. All of these people who became millionaires and multi-millionaires in network marketing, at one time, they hadn't been involved before. Also, at one time, they just started. And each one of these people was sponsored by somebody. Just think about that. I mean, I know it sounds a little Mickey Mouse, but I think that's profound. Every one of these people started where every one of us started. They went on to become millionaires. So what was it that they did? Now, going back to your question, only two of those names, Donna Johnson and Carolyn Whiteman, have been, three, and Margie Aliprandi, 3 out of the 21 have been with their company their entire network marketing life. Carolyn Whiteman,
Margie Aliprandi, who else?
Carolyn Whiteman. Carolyn Whiteman has been with Shaklee Corporation for 4 decades, 40 years. 40
And who's
years.
Donna?
Donna Johnson is with Arbonne. She's been with them for 20 years plus.
And
Margie Aliprandi has been with New Wave for also ballpark 20 years. What's interesting is every one of these people and every one of those companies has had major league ups and downs while these 3 women were still with us. New Wave has almost been lost 2 or 3 times. You know, Shaklee has gone through major transformation. Arbonne, a couple of years ago, it looked like they were going out of business. The company that owned them put them into receivership because Arbonne was the only one of their holdings that wasn't in trouble. So they put them into bankruptcy so they could refinance everything else. And these 3 women stuck with their companies. Now, one of the lessons to be learned from all of these greatest networkers, they all come with a variety of values, Max. And this is a question I ask each one. What are the values, your personal values, things that are most important to you in your heart that you've brought to this business that you can put your finger on and say, this is responsible for my success? And one answer that always comes back is perseverance. These people are always here. Donna Johnson loves to tell the story that she has a handful of people in her years of experience who, had they just stayed involved, not built a thing, just kept ordering the product, and on the wild occasion, once or twice a year, recommended them to somebody, they'd be millionaires today. That's part of my point. Look, someone sponsored every one of these people. Ken Dunn's made almost $2 million a year. Dr. Sven Goebel makes over $2 million a year. Carolyn Whiteman makes about $750,000 a year. Lynn Allen Johnson, about $500,000. Margie Aliprandi is an annual income earner. Jordan Adler was with 12 companies. His first 10 companies, he didn't sponsor anybody. 0. He finally got into Excel Communications, took off, became a star, and what happened? Excel went up in smoke. Excel disappeared. Today, Jordan earns over $2 million a year with his 13th company. John Bentley, who is with Cohesion Noni International. John got involved, and here's a history lesson for you, Maximilian. John got involved in 1955 with a company called Neutralite. He was working in a restaurant in Pasadena, California. He was managing that restaurant, and every Tuesday night or Monday night, this group of people would come to his restaurant, and they would have a party, gathering, meeting, and he was just blown away by how much fun they had. They laughed, they liked each other, they were smiling, they were positive, they tipped well. And so he inquired from the lady who put this thing together, you know, what's this all about? How many employees do you have here? What do you guys do? I said, they're not employees. I said, what do you mean they're not employees? I said, well, they're all independent business people. We all work with each other, but none of us works for each other. She explained the concept to him. John got involved. That was 1955, Max. This is 2011. John's $1 million income earner with Tahitian Noni International. It is his 44th company. Now, he does not, and I do not, recommend that people join 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, look to go again and again and again and again and again. And John admits that it's a mistake he made in the past. He's been with his company today, Tahitian Noni, since 1996. And he ain't going anywhere else.
Where did he come from?
In terms of various companies,
Oh yeah, what was the company that was in before Tahitian Noni?
I do not know the name of it, but the story's kind of funny. Gentleman named Floyd Holdman, who is the #1 guy in Tahitian Noni, called John and said, would you be open to looking at another network marketing company? And John said, no, I think this is not a legal, I'm not testifying in court, Matt. I think it was with Matt Hall.
Okay.
I think. Because John was training for them and he had a contract for training. And part of his contract was if he ever went within a mile of another network marketing company, they'd kick him out. He'd lose his training position. And he had a distributorship as well, so he was doing very well. When Floyd Holdman invited him to come take a look at Tahitian Noni in Salt Lake City, John literally, when he got to whatever the airport is, I mean, I don't know the towns in Utah, Max, so I don't know if it was Orem to Provo or Provo to Orem or something like that. John literally got into Floyd's car and pulled his jacket over his head so that no one would recognize him on the far chance. He had too much on the table. He was risking by going to the very, very beginnings of Tahitian Noni back in 1996. He ended up going, taking a look at it, and what happened was he fell in love with the vision of the man who really started the company, John Wadsworth, and John's absolute commitment and passion to how this morinda, it was called in that day, it was not Tahitian Noni yet, but how this noni fruit and the juice from it could better all humanity in terms of their health. And John just fell in love with John Wadsworth's vision, and that's where he signed up, how he signed up. But most all of these people have had companies go out from under them, promises made, bad stuff happened, and even the ones who stuck and who only did one company, they've had their struggles as well. One of the things that is universal about all these people, Max, is they had their challenges and they didn't quit. They just didn't quit. And a number of them mention that as one of their keys to success. Richard Brooks said, I just didn't have quit in me. Jordan Adler flew pretty much penniless, making no money, across the country from Arizona to Boston, Massachusetts, to do a meeting, lands in the middle of the worst snowstorm Boston had seen in 20 or so years, rents a car, takes what should normally be a 25 to 30-minute trip, taking 3 hours to get to the home where the meeting is going to be for his brand new organization in New England. Nobody's there. Standing in a payphone, nobody had cell phones in that day, standing at a payphone out somewhere in Massachusetts outside of a 7-Eleven trying to call somebody, can't get in touch with anybody, goes and takes what little he has left on a credit card for a hotel room, and he cites that example as one of many examples where a whole lot of people would have quit, and he didn't. And he didn't quit because he had a vision, a powerful vision that he wholeheartedly believed of what would be possible if he could succeed in network marketing. Now, please understand the distinction there. What would be possible if he could succeed, not his success. And that's one of the things I've noticed about these people, is that for some period of time, their belief was in the possibility, not in themselves. Linda Proctor cited the fact that Bob had more belief in her and her success than she did. And in many cases, what we found with these people, these greatest networkers in the world, other people had a much more powerful belief than they did. But what they all believed in, Matt, was the possibility. If they could do it, it would be a home run. If they could do it. And in every instance.
Now, the video, the complete video is in one of your tools in boot camp. And tonight, 9 o'clock, we're going to jump into communication, talking to people. That's what it's all about. Until next time, best of luck in building your business, and God bless.